everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today to this wonderful AMA. But today, as always, it's actually an AUA, right? Ask Us Anything is today because we've got a wonderful group of people that I'm going to let introduce themselves here in just a minute, of course. My name is Mike Martin. I'm the head of customer experience and learning here at Litmos. I get on these a lot. Super excited to talk to you and answer your questions as best we can. We've got, again, a wonderful group of people here. Let's start Brady Bunch style. Up in my upper left, where I see anyway, is Mr. Gabe here. Gabe, let's just start up with you. A little bit about yourself quickly, and we'll go around all the way through Josh, who's joining us live from the vineyards today. He's out there having a nice rosé on this wonderfully hot day. So Gabe, start with you.
Yeah, awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is Gabe Vasquez, and I've been working with Litmos for a little over 5 years at this point. I've worn many hats. I have a pretty extensive history with support and onboarding. Right now, I work with our enterprise customers, making sure that they are taken care of. Happy to be a part of the team.
Thanks, Gabe. I'll take it over. Coming at you from the vineyards of my backyard while my son's taking a nap inside. I'm Josh Barton. I'm instructional designer and UX designer here at Litmos. I create a lot of the training content that we see in Litmos Dojo to tell all of you awesome customers and our own people all the new things that are coming out with Litmos and basically train everybody on how to become a master in Litmos. So pleasure to join you here. I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can. My specialty is instance customization, so I'll try to step in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Rami, you can take it away.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you again. I'm super excited to be here as part of this team. I'm from the product team at Litmos, and obviously I kind of bring in all the feedback from customers and try to get everything in one requirement and kind of build the products around that. So I'm here to kind of help out with any questions you might have with respect to product, and happy to be here.
Great. So we have the A team with you here today. As you're looking around, all the real smart people are here in the room with you today, from product, from support, from instance customization, and so forth. And me, I'm just kind of emceeing. I know some stuff too, so I'll answer some questions as we go along. But let's get into that. Before that, we have one more person behind the scenes. Hi, Gina. Gina's from our marketing team, and she's back there behind the scenes as well. So I wanted to let you know we have a lot of folks here working with you today to make this happen. So today, what's today about? Ask Us Anything. So a couple disclaimers about today. One, you can definitely ask us anything that you want. Now, will we have all of the answers like my children? Yeah, they seem to know absolutely everything, especially my 14-year-old. Yeah, we might not have all of the answers today, but we will guarantee you that we will get back to you and make sure that we can find them. That's our commitment to you, is that if we don't have the answer specifically today, that we'll get back to you and answer it as we go. So give us some time. We're going to make sure that we can get some great questions in the box. Now, this only works is if you do put the questions in the questions box, right? So there's a box there that you should have on your learner side, or your, yeah, I'm speaking LMS talk right now on your on your attendee side. That's right. You should have a box there where you can answer and put in any questions that you might have, and then we'll grab those questions as we go down the list and try to answer them as we go along. So hopefully today you've come prepared with some stuff to ask us. You've got the right people in the room. So let's get started. It looks like we have a couple of questions right out of the gate
already.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into one of them. The first one here. Is there any option to merge two accounts in Litmos? Like if someone changes companies and uses Litmos as their LMS, can we merge them together?
I know that we can have a multi-account, right? That's one thing, and I know that we can link multi-accounts, Ramya. But is there a way to actually take two accounts and sort of condense them into one URL?
I do not believe so. I don't think two accounts can be merged together, but I will definitely go back and confirm because I'm not 100% sure on this piece. But for 99%, I don't think we can do that.
Yeah.
That's something that we don't support.
Yeah, and I can speak to that a little bit more. Yeah, there currently isn't a way for us to actually just merge two accounts together. But we do have several tools on the side that will help you migrate. This is a pretty common scenario that we see often. I can think of a couple projects right now where this has come up, and so we have, we can copy over your people, we can copy over your history, completion of courses, like Josh mentioned, we can push content from one account to another, so we can make it pretty easy for you, and we can guide you, but to actually duplicate and create a copy or merge is not possible.
Yeah, I think Gabe, you hit it right on the head there, that maybe the term for it instead of merge is we can migrate. We can migrate content over, get that over for you. The only disclaimer though is from what I understand, if they're on two separate databases, then that's a really difficult thing to do. So as long as they're on the same one, right? If you just have another account, you're in the same region and area, all that works out well. It's tough when you want to switch like from the UK to, let's say the AU or something like that. Like the databases are different there. So wanted to be clear. Again, we're going to be as transparent as possible, give you all the information that we know as we know it. So hopefully that's helpful. Definitely put some comments in the side. We're keeping track on that as we go along. So who wants to grab the next question? I just took the first one. Now the questions are coming in. It's like, I love this idea of a talk show. I wish we could turn on all their microphones and just allow them. We have a new caller, long time Litmos, first time caller thing. I think that'd be super fun.
Right?
Maybe next time. But Josh, why don't you take the next one? You see one on this list that you want to tackle?
Francis asked us too, so I'll just at least try to answer one right away. As an admin, she says, I don't always get notifications when learners submit their recordings from the video assessment, yet I'm listed as a reviewer. I know, however, I'm a manager of the learner. To get the notification, I have to have that box checked. So yeah, so you have to have the box checked for being a reviewer, and then you also have to be required for course notifications as well. So when you go to the course settings on the top right-hand corner, there's a little box where you can add people to be signed up as course notifications. So you should get a notification for marking when it's required. I have noticed at times where I've actually seen some of these marking emails go straight to my spam folder, and even I've actually had it happen where they've gone straight to my trash folder, and this is with my own SAP email. So I've had to go into my trash, mark as not junk or approved or whatever, and then I saw those. So there has been times in the past where I've personally stopped seeing notifications. So it possibly could be also an inbox setting on your end too. But if you continue to kind of see that issue, I probably just reach out to support@litmos.com with the exact details, and then they can hop into the accounts, that actual course settings for you, and just verify it's set up properly for you to make sure you get all the right notifications.
Right. Any additions to that? Other folks on the line? No?
Nope. I think that was, you covered it all, Josh.
All right. Gabe, you're up next. Grab one of these.
All right.
What do you got?
Question that says, how does the self-registration process work? And yeah, we can go ahead and talk about that really quickly. So basically, self-registration, the use case that a pretty cool use case that I've heard. I mean, you really want to use it when you don't know who your learners are in regards to their information. You don't know what their first name, last name, email. You don't know that information. You just want to give out kind of tokens, or you want to just give out access to a course. So I had this one client a few years back, and she was going to a conference, and she printed out a bunch of business cards, and on the business card it said, go to this URL and redeem this token, and then you can self-register for my account and start taking my training. So basically, you would give that URL out. There's a custom URL that Litmos provides you, and it's external facing. So in order to view it, you don't need to log in. You don't need any credentials. Anybody can go to that URL. You put in your first name, your last name, your email. With that information, we use in Litmos. And then there's also a token, and that can be associated with a Litmos team, a Litmos course, or a Litmos learning path. And once that user hits submit with that token, we will create an account for them in Litmos. And then we'll also perform whatever action is associated with that token that you created. So maybe you're gathering prospects at a conference, and you're assigning them to your prospect team in Litmos, And in that team is a bunch of kind of trial content, right? So they can just go, you can hand out that business card, everybody goes in there, and then from the back end, you can view that team, you can see who redeemed that token, and you kind of have that control. So it allows you to freely offer access to Litmos and allow people to register on their own versus you inputting all that information for that user ahead of time.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing to that. So you also can control how many users you hand it out to. So you can control that with that token. So you can say, I want to allow 50 people. So for that, not, everybody who has that token is using it. So you have that control over there. So that's an added security thing with that.
Yeah, we use that a lot here. It's a really great tool for just the reasons that were brought up just now. That's great. Okay. Ron, good.
Yeah, Bridget asked that question, and then she also, I just saw her as Gabe was answering, she actually asked another question. We can just do a 2-for-1 and just get both of her questions answered right now. Yeah, she asked the difference between the team leads and team admins. I had this question too when I first started with Litmos. I was like, what's the difference? The real thing is, the reality is we have this page on your account settings called roles and permissions. And if you go into here, you can actually adjust your permissions between team admins and team leaders. And we built these 2 roles to give you that flexibility, just in case you want to have another layer of some team member who had an authority, but maybe didn't have all the authority, or vice versa. So really, I mean, you can technically give your team leader the maximum authority and then unclick everything for the team admins, and then except for the quick reports, right? And then these ones that are highlighted gray, and then you'll have that sort of flexibility, and then you can kind of do vice versa, mix match. But that's kind of just why we have those 2 different roles, to give you that extra little variety.
Awesome. Hey, yeah, if just I'm a visual learner, so if you want to fire up like Gabe or somebody, like when we're talking about this stuff, let's just fire something up. I was trying to do that in the background. That's what I was like trying to fire mine up, but I don't want to open up the dojo and show all the back end stuff. That's where all the secrets are. So that's the account that I have that's most built out. So I'm not gonna do that. That's a little scary for sure. Good stuff. Rami, do you want to take the next one? Is there one on there that jumps out at you that you want to answer?
Yeah, sure. I think this question has come up quite a bit with respect to, will categories and subcategories eventually be decommissioned? And it seems to serve different purposes. I mean, topics and categories seem to serve different purposes. To answer that, we don't have subcategories, just to clarify. We only have categories, just one level. Topics, yes, we have topics and subtopics. The reason categories is going to be decommissioned is today we only support it with courses, and it's kind of limited in what it can do. We are exploring another functionality called tags, which is more common in the industry, tagging of your content tagging. And this is something that we are looking at potentially to replace categories, because we do have use cases where topics, subtopics, and categories are used for completely different purposes. That said, tagging would be part of all content types, not just courses. So that kind of expands the usability of tags in place of categories. And then obviously tagging has its own advantages, and it is more intuitive, because tagging is very common in social media, and it's very intuitive from that perspective. So that's kind of where we are kind of taking categories, if you may, to become tags and serve more than what category serves today. So we'll be sharing more in a newsletter soon. This is a newsletter that just kind of informing about some changes like these, which are, we are decommissioning something and what is kind of going to replace it, or things like that. So we will send out, we're planning to send out email around that soon. So that's where we are with categories and subcategories. Categories and topics and subtopics.
We have an addition to that question. Somebody says, Cynthia says, yes, awesome. And will tags be searchable through the search field then?
Yes, I'll plan to make search. approachable for the for, as I said, on it, but that's kind of the direction we're taking.
Fantastic. All right. That's my turn. Yeah, I'm doing. I'm gonna get your question because I'm more on the learning development. I get more information on how to create this. Absolutely, you can use the native tools that are within Litmos already. If you go to build a course, you can actually use the tools in there, right? Because you can upload something that you want, as you know already. You can link to something that's already in there, and then the third option there is to use the tools that are in there. There's a assessment builder, there's the video assessment stuff, there's questionnaires, and there's pages of information, and there's all these different tools that you can use. I'm going to be perfectly honest, though. I think that as the part of our product that we're doing the best to bolster up, which you're going to see some big changes this year. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I'm not going to, but I'm going to say, yeah, that some big changes on that side of on the authoring side is that our LMS was never built to be a super heavy duty authoring tool. It just wasn't. We wanted to offer you some opportunities to put some stuff in there and make sure that you had those there. But we were kind of thinking that people would rely on the third parties, the Rise and the Captivates and those types of things to build out their content. But now we're seeing that we want people that we have a lot of folks that want all in one, and we're moving that direction. So right now you absolutely can using the tools that are provided in there. So just go create a course, test course, look at all the different options that you have available there, and you can build out a course directly in Litmos that's nice and native to that. Or try out some of these other tools, like Nobly is a good tool. I enjoy that tool a lot. It's a startup, a few years old now, but really simple paint by numbers authoring that's mobile friendly and mobile first, which is really great. So go try out a couple of those. I know Captivate can be a little bit heavy handed. I've used it before. There's just so much cool stuff you can do. It just gets a little bit like, oh, I just want to build something simple. So we want to make sure that you get what you need there. So Bernadette, I hope that answers your question. And yeah, definitely check out Litmos and see the tools that are in there as well. All right, we've gone around the horn and we're about halfway through. So now we move to a new segment in our Ask Us Anythings, and that's the Wheel of Fate. That's right. Oh. So now with the Wheel of Fate, I'm going to spin this thing, and there's a lot of cool things on the wheel from, things that were like, we have to tell dad jokes to wild, to it's a secret. I love that one, where we're going to give you some secrets to what's coming up in the next release. So let's see what the wheel has to say for us today. Let's see what we got. It is
Mike's choice.
Mike's choice. Oh, it lands on me first. Everybody wants to hear me talk more.
That.
My choice. Okay. My choice, and really with the Mike's choice, what that's about is just I can talk about anything that I want to. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick another. With my choice, I'm going to pick another one randomly from the questions list that we can answer here. Now let's go. I'm going to pick it here. When I log in, I see all the learner under the people section. This comes from Irina. When I log in, I see all the learners under people section. Is it possible to see people equals learners from my program and not from the whole organization? Okay. Thoughts on that, team? When I see all the learners under people, I see them all under people. So is it possible to see people equals learners from my program and not from the whole? What do you mean by program? I think that would be the question that I'd have, right? Like what specific view are you trying to get? Is it a courses or a team, right? Is it like you're looking at what people were assigned to a learning path? I mean, I think there are a lot of. Is that? What do you think, folks? Is that? Yeah.
I think you're right there. If you have if you're seeing everybody in the account, then that means you're either a training administrator or you're an account owner, and that's what comes with that access level. You have access to everybody in the account. It sounds like you may be wanting that access level might be too high for you because you want a more drilled down view and you don't want to see everybody. So it might be worth creating another account, or having somebody just demote you to a team leader where you're logging in and you're only seeing the teams that you can control. The only caveat to that would be that you would be losing access to maybe the account settings tab, which you can do kind of back end things to. But if you're not if you're not managing the entire account as a whole, you probably don't really need that access anyway. So there's a couple gray areas there, and I guess we're kind of working off assumptions. But yeah, if you're one of those, either of those two access levels, then you're going to have access to everybody. The only way to drill it down would be by team leader visibility.
Irina added into the chat for, she said only people that she assigns. So that's what.
That's team. Okay.
Right. So be more on the team side of things.
Yep.
Okay. Great. So let's go around the horn again. Who wants to start? Let's. I've been talking too much. Who else wants to jump in and answer a question or facilitate the answering of one of these wonderful questions, which we have so many now. Well, congratulations to you out there for having so much. One disclaimer though too is some of these, if we're not getting to it, it might be so specific, right? That I mean, it's like way down the rabbit hole on there that we want to make sure that it's really useful for everybody on the line, the things that we answer that are a little more higher level. So if we didn't get to your very, very specific one, then reach out to your account manager or we'll hopefully reach back out to you on these things. But if it's an issue, you're like, man, I just don't know how to do this, or I'm having a problem, support@litmos.com will get you the support that you need. So always remember that you have them in your back pocket as well. So who wants to take the next question?
I can go next, Mike.
Okay.
I have a question here that's asking, it's from Christopher. So if I'm looking to update a learning path with new course, when I did this, I seem to mess up the completion number of my users that have already completed the course. So how do I prevent this from happening? Should I create a new learning path? That's kind of the question. That's how it goes. So technically with our last release, you shouldn't be messing up a completed user's completion when you add a course to a learning path. If that's happening, then I think that should be a support ticket, and we'll look into that. But the way you are looking at a learning path is when a learning path is updated for a course, whether you're making a course active, inactive, or making any sort of addition to the learning path, it only should affect your users that are in progress or not have completed or have not completed the content itself. Anybody that has completed the course should still keep their completion. They might see the new content in their learner view, but their completion will still stay at 100%. So that's kind of what you're expecting to see. If you're seeing something else, I think that's something you probably want to bring it up with the support team, and we'll take a look at it. It's essentially a bug.
Great, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Sure.
I see a question I can take, or maybe I'm not sure if I can provide the best answer, but at least try to help. Personalization from Arica. With a move to work from home, our org has actually blocked image hosting websites. So can the course invitation, I know, CSS, login background, metrics, banner customizations, etc. Can they be adjusted to upload an image instead? And then she's saying that the users report that sometimes the emails look like phishing attempts because maybe the images are being blocked. So first of all, sorry, it's a bummer that your organization is blocking your image hosting websites. I would just check the list of other, just Google down the list of other image hosting websites that you can try. There's ImageBB. I use Imager.com. I can see that one would be blocked because it's also like a social media, like commenting sort of thing. But there's ImageBB.com. There's 500px. And if you are also working for, you're creating training for your company, you should also be able to somehow configure the ability to upload images to your own company's website. So a lot of the internal stuff that we create, sometimes we upload it to litmos.com, and then we can reference that file directly from our website. So if you don't want to use a third-party thing, I think they would maybe see if your IT can provide you with a way to access that. And again, that it's a hit or miss with all the different orgs and permissions. Obviously, I can't just upload anything I want to sap.com, but that might. Hopefully that answered some of your questions. Sorry about that. That's a little tricky though, with your websites being blocked from an external party. There's that. Anybody else? Ramya, do you have any thing you can add there, or maybe contribute or suggestions for images that are being blocked?
I think as you said, it's kind of a tricky one, right? Because it's not something that we can really do much about if it's an external factor. So I think you don't think I have anything more to add to that.
Well, just to kind of keep that conversation going a little bit further, Ramya, is there any, I mean, because one solution would be allowing customers to upload images to use in live versus having them link it. Has there ever been any plans, or is there a reason why we would never offer that? Because that would, of course, work, right?
Yes, I mean, if you productize it in a different way, it's a different kind of solution. Again, we can look into it. We don't have plans for that at this point in time, given other things that we've prioritized. But that's definitely a solution. But for the question that we have, I guess the answer is this is what we have right now. But yes, as you said, something that can be productized would definitely be a good solution for that issue. But we don't have anything right now.
Yeah, nothing on the roadmap. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I saw a question, and it came from Dean.
Yeah. And I apologize too if I was talking over you. I thought it.
He's like, I'm done.
Everybody else was frozen and I was talking.
I think we give each other a little bit of leniency in this new world way of working, right? So hopefully everybody out there too, you're probably all sitting in either your garage offices or bedrooms or whatever it might be, right? Yeah, your vineyard. Yeah. So we're all having a little bit more patience with each other. If nothing positive comes out of this, I'm trying to at least find some silver lining that I feel like people are more patient with the way things are at the moment. But we digress. Yeah. So I'll take the next one because I'm just reading through the list. I'm hoping everybody else here. I also realized that we got an hour with you. We don't have to rush. I was like, man, I thought it was 30 minutes. So I'm excited. You just made my day that I get to spend more time with you out there in customer land. Is there any way to, well, and then I go right into bad news. Is there a way to bulk upload topics or subtopics to many courses at a time? We have 8,000 plus LinkedIn learning courses, and manually going through each of them is incredibly painful. Katie, I know it's painful and that sucks. And I wish I had better news for you, but at this point, we'll have that available for you. It's something that I know that we've been talking about. I know, Ramya, we've discussed it before, but it's not on the roadmap at the moment. So again, being brutally honest and making sure that we have, we're giving you the right info, right? So that it's not like, yeah, it's coming. And then you're like, but you said. We want to make sure that we say things as they are, right? Not as we'd like them to be. Sorry about that. Bad news.
But we do hear you, though.
We hear you.
And we have Ramya in the room who really hears you.
Did you hear that? Yeah. So,
I got that. I totally get where this customer's issue is with respect to bulk updating, whether it's bulk upload or bulk update. Both. So I got it, and we'll keep you posted on future changes on that specifically.
And then the one right above it, when's the next update by Graham? Graham asked that. August, right? We're pushing. It's slated for. I love the terminology. I like to make sure I use the right. It's slated and planned for August. Yes.
August. Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting. Great. All right. Who's got one that's just burning right there on the? We're halfway through. See, now I can say that we're about halfway through. I think it's almost time for a wheel spin. We're gonna do that here in just a minute. So we might as well make it fun, right? I mean, I'm losing my mind here. It's good being in this office all the time. Who's got another one they want to answer?
I see a question right here from Dean Ichikawa. Right. And the question is that he saw in a support article on how to log straight into a course by using login key. And then he says he tried it and it seemed to work, but only once. Is it designed to only be a one-time use, or is it supposed to work more than once? And so for those who don't know, he's talking about generating a login key via the API. So pretty much providing people a link, having them click on it and going directly into Litmos, using that login key to authorize them, and then going straight to that course. And so to answer your question, Dean, that is how it's supposed to work. So it's a one-time use login key, which means that it can only be redeemed one time, and then that login key expires. So what's happening probably when you click that login key again, you're probably hitting the Litmos login screen and it's saying this link has expired. And that's basically what's happened. It's expired. You just need to regenerate that login key through the API and then it will work again. So you just need to regenerate it. So for example, let's say you, within your email templates, you're sending out links to courses to all of your learners, and it contains one login key, that long link that you see that says, litmos.com/ blah, blah, blah. That login key, if they click that login key one time, they're going to go right into their account. They're going to start taking training, and that's fine. Now, if they try to go and they go to their email and click that login link again, they're going to get that expired message. It's because it's that same exact login key. It's already been used. It's expired at this point. So if you're creating if you want to provide another key that would work, you need to regenerate a new login key and it will be fresh and ready to go. But it's a security measure that we take, and the login keys expire after one-time use.
There is another thing I want to chat on here is that like kind of deep linking into the course where you can put out a link and have them click on it and go directly to it, right? You can also get that in the course itself, so long as they're already assigned to it, right? Do I have that right? Yeah. So within the course, you can go ahead and go in and look into the settings, and in there, it'll give you a link that goes directly to whatever that course is. And so I use that all the time when I have assigned somebody to something and I send it to them and I want them to be able to click it and go straight to it. It pops up. They don't have to do all the other stuff around it. So that's also another thing. If you get a step and say and make sure there's value for everybody, that not just APIs, but also that's another way that you can get people directly at courses as well.
And they won't be able to access that course unless if they're not assigned to it. The only other way that they can access the course is if it's checked active in the course, displayed in the course library, or I'm sorry, the content library.
Yep. Good times. Who's up next? Josh, you got one for us?
I was gonna say we should do a wheel spin.
Wheel spin. Okay, wheel spin time.
Here we go. On me, and I can make you bust out your guitar.
No, I'm not gonna play any guitar for you. No, that was a bad wheel spin. Let's go. Look at this. It can't land on me again. Oh, what's this one? Mike's choice. No, we're not doing that. We're doing another one.
I feel it's
this one. Whose is that? Ramia's choice. Okay, Ramia, you're up. Pick one from the list. Okay. You can also make someone else answer it. This is a game show. It's good. It's fantastic.
Well, I'll take it. I find a question here that I think might be helpful to answer. So this is from Elena. People feature, we have international locations and we use Teams to place those people, but it makes reports complicated. So I'm guessing you're looking for that. So she's looking for people featured give us work site location as a feature. So I know user profile has a location, but there is also custom fields that can be used specifically if it's completely different from the user's location for whatever reason. If your work site, so let's say if you're in California but you work for an East Coast company and you want to put work site location as East Coast, you can use custom fields for that purpose, because we do allow you to filter and run reports with custom fields, people custom fields. So that could be one way to address this without having a new field per se. I don't know, Gabe, do you have a use case similar to this? And do you have any more to add with respect to reports and location, worksite location?
I was going through the questions.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out the next question. I was going to answer.
Reading ahead.
But it was in regards to the location of reports.
So the question was, they have people located internationally, and I was wondering if we have a feature for worksite location on people. And I was recommending, there is a field of called location for from user profile perspective. We also have custom fields which can essentially solve for that use case, and can be also reported.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. I would absolutely go to those custom fields and then start filtering your reports on those fields. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. I'll grab this next one from I think it's Katrine. Karstens, can I embed some of your Litmos created courses into one of my own courses, or is there any way of weaving them in? The only way to do that is you can take the course and then you can add wrappers around it. Like if you're using the tools within Litmos to do that, like if you wanted to add it into like a learning path, for instance, let's say that that you had that course and you put it in a learning path and you put courses in front of it and in back of it, or even modules in a course, you could do it that way. Does that make sense? So, you know, you can add that in and then you could put like an assessment at the end of it, or you could put your own information. This is what a lot of our folks do with the content is they say, okay, I want to grab this, but I want it to be in context with what we're trying to teach from our point of view, right? So what they'll do is they'll put their own stuff in the beginning of it and it'll say, now watch this piece and watch for these things. And then they'll watch the already created, the off-the-shelf stuff, the Litmos content, and then at the end of it, it'll be like, then you jump back into, now notice that from there, these are the 3 things you needed to know. The next step is an assessment. So they just weave them in and out like that is what we suggest that people do. There's no way to actually, again, it's like a pie, I would say. Once it's already baked, you can't like take the pieces apart again, right? I mean, it's kind of done unless you have some time machine and that doesn't going to work either. But so in order for, I mean, if you were going to use it in a different way, you'd actually have to have the source files for those. And of course, that's not gonna, we're not gonna be able to get those to you. So does that make sense? Any additions onto that? Good. Yeah. I keep taking the ones where it's like, no, you can't, right? I feel like the bear of bad news. I'm gonna pick one right now. You can absolutely do that. That's fantastic.
I've got one that I can take next from Kathleen. She says, in Litmos, you can create a survey that is used for all. Can you create a survey that's used for all courses? Produces a separate report for each of the courses. Yes. So we have a survey module that you can add to the courses. Once you create that initial survey module, you can link it to another course and then you can mirror it to another course. There's 3 distinct options to basically duplicate modules, but if you link that survey, you can have that exact same survey in any course you want. You can just link it to as many courses as you need, and that the reporting will stay separate for that completion of that course. If you mirror it, the reporting will stay the same, so the user will only have to complete that module one time. I think in your question, you're looking more so for the mirroring, where you're able to take it, but the reporting stays the same. Is that correct, Mike? Is that, am I on the money there with the mirroring, copying, linking? Okay. And then copy is straight duplication of it, and there's no connection, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, when you duplicate it, you want completely separate versions of it, right? It's totally standalone. It's not connected in any way, right? And then you have the mirror and the link. The link, again, I really like the fact that if you do it once in one place, you don't have to do it again in another. Now, this is a survey, so it's a little different. And so I don't think with surveys, can you mirror and link them?
You should be able to mirror and link any module. Right? I mean,
there's
again, so sometimes
I don't know if
we got to dig back into our own platform and get back into it and make sure that we know that.
Yeah, I believe it's well, in the UI it'll actually tell you. So when you go and maybe, let's say, for example, it's a ILT session and you're trying to mirror link it, it'll tell you if it'll provide you the options that are available. So and the modules that are not, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm in a course right now looking to browse, and you are able to click into at least search for survey. I don't have a survey in this exact sandbox instance that I'm in right now, but the options there. So I'm hoping that your surveys as well.
Yeah, there are a few, and it's intentional. So the ones that like checklists, I believe is one, and those modules are intentional by design, not able to support those features just because it gets really ugly on the back end. And Rami probably could speak to that a little more, but yeah, it's just not something that we're able to offer for those modules.
It's just a handful, not too many, like one or two that doesn't support the mirror and functionality. So yeah, I mean, there's reason why we don't do that. So you're spot on with that, Gabe.
Nice. So hey, I have a thing I want to do real quick. Steve Benders is fired up. He's asked a ton of questions. I want to make sure we get some of his answered for sure. I'm looking on here and there's a bunch of them on there. So there's one on there around, let's see. I really like the, is there a way to manipulate and manage tokens over API? I mean, I'm just trying to quick ones here. Is there any way to do that? Does anyone know?
No, not at this time.
Not at this time? Okay, good. And is there a way to set a template for an ILT session emails? They need to be individually set for each session.
Yes.
So each session, yes, we do have the capability to specific session-specific emails that can be triggered. So once you have ILT session set up, when you go into the specific session, you will be able to see that. I don't know if I can quickly show that.
I think he's asking for I was gonna say, I think Steve is asking for a template. So we do offer the ability to customize each per session template, but it's always a standard Litmos produced template. You know what I mean? You can't customize that default template.
You can, how do you mean default template?
For the ILT sessions email.
Yeah, so let me probably share my screen and we can show that.
We're all lifelong learners here. Like I said, we don't know everything, but we know how to get the information for you. So we're working it out.
Didn't Henry Ford say that or something?
Sorry, I just need to find it. I didn't have it handy. If any of you have it handy and can share. Okay. Right.
While you're doing that, here's one I think we can answer pretty quickly. I keep hearing about topics and subtopics, but I don't have this function anywhere in my settings. Suggestions to look into this. Yeah. So you have to turn on the topics and subtopics from your features. Go into the account settings and go into features, Litmos features, and then it's going to be one of the options in there to turn on that thing. The categories are always on. I think they're on by default, but the topics and subtopics you do have to turn on. So again, account settings, go into features, and then you'll be able to turn that on from it's right there in the middle of the screen somewhere. There's one of the chips that you'll see the things you could turn on.
Can you guys see my screen? I'm just kind of navigating right here. So it would be, this is the features page and just like
perfect.
Turn on right there.
So Josh, while you're on it, would you be able to show the ILT piece as well?
Absolutely. What do we want to do on the ILT? I'm sorry. Do you want to create an ILT module?
If you have one already, we can probably look at that. Or
I don't think so in this course. Let me just create a sample one. Shouldn't be too hard.
Here's how you make an ILT module.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. All right. So where should I just hit save, right?
You just need to add an instructor.
Where's that?
There.
Oh man, actually, I'll just add myself on.
And then set the organizer.
And then just go click into that specific session. Click on the session that you created. Edit the session. Yeah. So you can see you have the email templates right here, email notification, right? So when you click on any of these, let's say the learner one, learner email template. So you have the default here. So you can obviously change the text and change the name and the information that you want to include in there. So all of this can be modified. So I'm not sure if that was the question, and that's kind of what I was referring to.
If you modify it, will it will that become a template though across the, I think that's the question,
Not
right?
across all sessions. This is
Yeah.
session specific. For this session, you have
Yeah.
modified it. It will stay that way for this session, not for all sessions. If that's what
So-
you were saying, then you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say Steve wants to create a specific one and he wants to take out specific placeholders. Every time he creates a session, he'll have to
Do it every
customize
time.
it.
We go on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's no way. There's another place that I mean, the main place that we control this. I'm sorry, is the email tab in the account settings. So we have the default ILT and event reminder. This is a generic template that can be customized for all of the ILTs, but this can't be ILT specific. But you can have a template for set for ILT reminders for sure.
Yeah, so this is just more like a reminder that goes out to everybody, but that's where, yeah, that's where that one lives.
Yep.
Nice. Very cool. Thanks for the screen share, Josh. Appreciate that.
Yep. Thank you.
Steve, we're looking out for you, bud.
Anytime.
Trying to get a few of your questions answered because you asked a bunch. I want to make sure. Who's up next?
Let's see.
There's another one from Steve Benders, and he's asking, how can custom fields be used for storing additional data but not enabling end users to view or edit these fields? And I can share my screen and show you. Make me the presenter, and let's see which screen I'm sharing. Which screen can you guys see? I hope it's the LMS.
Your LMS. Teach me that. Let me
I
start.
hope
Okay.
it's the LMS.
Good. Ooh, there's always that moment of like, oh,
I know,
where's
right?
the end? All right. So it depends on which kind of custom field you're using. The legacy custom fields don't have the ability to be hidden from learner view, but if you're using the newer custom fields, which are located under Litmos features, it's going to be under the account settings tab, so only account owners can come here. And then it's going to be custom fields. When you come here, by default, you look at courses, but you'll go to user custom fields, and then you can create custom fields right here. And you'll see the column show to users. So you would just go ahead and uncheck that option, visible to learner, and that won't show or be visible to them while they're using the system. So one question that just came to mind, and Rami, you might be able to help me out with this. Show to user, does that only hide it upon first login when they're kind of creating their profile, or can they always, or does it expose that field to them when they go up to the profile tab and edit their profile at any point?
Yeah, so I think when you don't have that checked, show to user, it essentially is not shown to user. And obviously you can have multiple different combinations, which might not make sense. You make it mandatory and say don't show to user. That essentially would mean you have to have a default value set up from the admin side, so the end users don't see, but still there's a value present for that. But yes, when you say not visible to user, the user will not see either the first time or in their profile.
Perfect, got it.
Right.
I had a quick question with the team. I want to clarify. Another one from Steve. I think this is his last question.
This is Steve's show.
All right. So they have a bunch of Litmos Heroes courses that they actually don't want in their instance. There's several hundred that we have to sort through. How can they hide them and archive them? I'm pretty sure you can filter. If you go to your content page, you can filter by author. And the Litmos Heroes courses that are added to your account, the author, I believe, is SAP Litmos training content or SAP Litmos. So if you search that, you should be able to pull up all of the Heroes courses that you have easily. You can also do filter for created date. And search for the courses that were created in the very beginning of when you started your instance, because that's when those courses were provisioned in, and those will just all of them will show all of them will show right on the screen. And Gabe, you've had your account for a while, right?
Yeah, but I guess there is no way to hide or archive those courses if they really don't want to use it. That's something that we don't currently support in the system. Obviously, since it's organized alphabetically, so if a content has you can probably, if you really don't want to see them, I know it's not a really good answer, but you can push them to the bottom if you just organize them alphabetically. If you make them Z, all Z, then it doesn't show up, but there's no good way to hide them from admin view or archive at this point.
Is that something we're looking at?
Sorry?
Do you know if that's something that we're looking at, or has it been brought up?
No, I mean, I've had questions around how can we highlight the courses. This is probably maybe the first time
on the other side. Yeah.
The other side of it. So yeah, we'll have to think about this as an enhancement, but we don't have anything right now for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, being honest. What's that?
I said the power of the team. I thought one thing, and then that's why we have Ramya here.
Right. Yeah. Great. Any others jump out for you there, team?
Yeah, I'm looking at one from, I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Apologies beforehand. Cynthia, I think she's asking if, can you speak to collection and what is the best use of those? I tried creating one and I really could not make sense of how that was useful. Sorry, a bit blunt, but true. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess if we are glad you're asking these questions because I'm sure this is going to be helpful for a lot of people that have logged in today. So collection is essentially a way to say group your content if you don't want to individually, bring them to say you don't want to expose that in a content library, which you can do on courses, learning paths, and now we have introduced assets which can be put in the library, but that's for everybody. It's a global library and everybody can see it. Collection has multiple different use cases. One is, let's say if you want a certain set of courses only visible to your team, but you don't want to assign that to your team, but you just want it made available, say, to team leads, team admins, not anybody else, for instance. In that case, you don't have to individually go and make a assignment to the team lead, team admin. You'd rather put all of that content under a collection, and then you would say, I want this collection to be available to user 1, 2, and 3, who can be your team lead and team admin for a team. And now this content is only available to those users in their library or in their view. Nobody else sees it. And now the team lead, team admin can pick and choose what gets assigned to which user based on what is needed. So that's kind of one use case if you want to think, if you're looking to use collections. And there are plenty of others. Like for instance, if you want to say create listings and say different listings has different, if you have partners or if you have other customers that you have in your system and you want to give them access differently. For instance, one has unlimited access to your content, one has a limited subscription-based access. In that scenario, you would be able to create a collection and then create listings within, which will be different in the way they are set up. And then you can assign that to the teams or users as you see fit for your organization in your use case. So there are a lot of use cases. I might not have covered everything. Gabe, you can jump in. I know you're an expert in collection with your customers. You probably on board there. But that's kind of the baseline as to what collection can do today. And obviously there's a lot of possibilities with future when it comes to collection. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're pretty much spot on. I would say that collections, as a successful company that we are, as we begin to grow, we begin to take on massive, big customers, and the collections feature was really kind of built to help us scale to that level. So when you're going to be using collections, if you're dealing with maybe 200 courses and maybe 5,000 users, you probably don't need collections. But if you're dealing with the hundreds of thousands of users and you're dealing with 10,000 courses and you're dealing with large scales, the collection tool is really, really useful in that sense. It allows them to really just assign content and expose content much easier than the traditional methods that we've built into the UI as we, a few years back. So it's just another option. I wouldn't pressure yourself to use it if you don't see it useful, but it does really essentially just bundle courses and learning paths. It's kind of a larger container, and you can assign it based off of different parameters, and a much smoother experience for the admins when you're dealing with that scale.
And can assets be added to the collection too, right?
Yes.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I do see some follow-up comments from Cynthia. Maybe we can answer those offline. Like there might be a little bit more confusion. I wanted to answer, or maybe Gabe can kind of possibly, I know Gabe's a reporting expert. Maybe Gabe can answer this question from Lauren, because she's got her name in all caps, so it draws attention. We got to answer her question. Lorna Ashby says, is there any way to export scores from a specific group on a specific course so you can see them all on the same page? Sounds like you're looking for a reporting tool, and you almost want to do a report for a group or maybe a team. So like we have a team report, and then you can kind of drill down and actually filter through the specific course and actually list that. Gabe, are you able to maybe just show the quick reports tool or the reporting engine on your screen? I know we only have like 5 minutes left, just to show where it is.
Screen. Yeah, so you guys can see, everybody can see, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So do you want me to come to quick reports, Josh?
Yeah. So she's asking. I mean, we could definitely probably build this out a little bit better in the reporting engine, but where would you go if you wanted to look for to export scores from a specific group on a specific course? Would you go to the team's quick report and then filter for a specific course completion title, or would you go to the course completion report?
Yeah, if you do it on the teams level, it's going to give you high-level team information. It's not going to give you individual scores. It'll just say how many people in this team have completed this content. So you'll want to do it on the user level, and then you'll want to filter by team. So you would go to user, result, course, and then I'll customize all this information, and then you would do select team. And that's how you would produce that report. If you do it on the team level, like I said, it's just going to say this many people in this team. This is how your team is doing. Your team is at 20% complete. So gotcha. Team level information versus we're looking for individual user information, completion on the course, but we want to filter it by team, right? So that's the difference.
Perfect. Yeah.
Walking through that way is going to get you down into the granularity that you probably need to. Whether it will all be on one page is really how many people are probably on that team, right? Like how much information are you pulling in that report? So I can't really speak to that, but it will give you a PDF and give you one file that will have that information in it. Good times. 3 minutes left. We're down to the wire here. No time for a wheel spin. We got 2 of them in though. I was excited about that. Thanks for humoring me with my my wheel of fortune here. It was super fun.
Bridget asks, can one add an evaluation to a learning path or course? Absolutely. We have an assessment module. We have a video assessment where people can upload themselves answering something on video. And you even have a learner upload assessment where learners can upload something as a submission for course completion that needs to be evaluated by admin. So for Litmos was built to test. So definitely.
Yeah. Nice.
And if by evaluation you're trying to get learner evaluation or learner feedback, you can also use the feedback tool. We also offer link sites, so you can pull in maybe a survey from another website or tool, and then you can also use our native survey as well. So it depends on what type of evaluation you're trying to do, but there's plenty of options.
Good. 2 minutes. Down to the wire.
So I see one question here. I just want to quickly take that. This is from Katie. She's asking, is there a way to assign a course to a team lead without giving them the ability to assign the course to others. Just a single course, not changing their permission. So I know we had released something in our last hotfix where we disabled self-assigned course by a team. So not assigned. So the answer to your question is no. Currently, we don't have, but we do have we do have a permission control where when it comes to an admin, team lead, team admin self-assigning content from the library, and we can we have basically disabled the ability to assign that content to their team. So that functionality has been introduced. But if it's an assigned content to the admin, they can always assign it. We don't stop them from doing that. So.
Thank you for the last one in under the wire at the top of the hour now. I just want to thank everybody for sticking it out, the people who are still on the call, hanging out. I know we went down the rabbit hole a lot of these very specific type things, but hopefully you gleaned something that may help you in the future or helps you now. Of course, if you have more questions, you always have the support.litmos.com or support@litmos.com. Please reach out to us so that we can help you. You can see that there are 4 of us on the line with 1 in the background, you know, from our, we're all here to help you during these difficult times. We may not have gotten to all of the questions. We did the best we could in the hour that we had. So we're just trying to make your lives easier. And I know that there are all sorts of other things outstanding, but get back to us and let us know how we can help you for sure. Thank you very much for to the presenters, Gabe, Josh, and Ramya for jumping in. Really appreciate it. And thanks for joining us, everybody. Stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Be good. And we'll talk to you on the next one. Bye now.
Bye. Bye.